To me, Global Reach Out is inspiring.
It's connecting with God, reaching out to the world, and impacting life.
The stories that shared is so personal and it deeply impacted me.
Global Reach Out to me is reach out to the truth.
Connecting hearts, connecting lives. You're listening to Global Reach Out.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Johnson Lim, and I am with the Baptist Institute for Contemporary Christianity as the director. This morning's podcast is entitled Himpossible. Episode 1. Every human being on this planet seeks to be happily and successfully living a life of significance and fulfillment, correct? The question is how? Is the joy of living, the secret of success, and the victory of achievement a mystery known only to a few? Thankfully, it is not. There is one word that summarizes and synthesizes all the fundamental keys to living a happy, successful, and fulfilling life. Associated with this word are principles that truly work. It is fair to say that we can handle success better than we can handle failure. Why is admitting the pains and acknowledging the hurts so difficult? Consequently, books on overcoming failures and getting a handle on disappointments are very popular. Even with modern technology, human beings still read books to help them overcome life's difficulties. What are some possible reasons that incapacitate us to handle the letdowns and the defeats of life? I will unpack the reasons later. The question then arises, when life's landmark changes, what can we do? What when you are confronted with crisis, what should you do? When your plans and dreams fail, what should you do? How do you handle disappointments in life? First, let me ask you, what comes to your mind when I say this word, impossible? Negative, dark, and gloomy thoughts, correct? It spreads like a virus. The word impossible has the destructive force of an emotional thermonuclear bomb, says Robert Schuller. It blocks your pathway to success. It blinds you to different possibilities. The word impossible has affected people and negatively changed their perspectives. Now, what happens when you add just one alphabet to the word impossible? You put the word H. H plus impossible becomes Himpossible, and everything changes. It becomes a positive, bright, and beautiful word is created. Only 11 letters, but my, what an awesome word Himpossible is. Since right thinking leads to right living, this word will change your perspective and living. Two words are said before us. One word you commonly hear, while the other you might not have heard before. Both words are powerful and practical. One word is negative, the other is positive. One will hinder you, the other will help you. One will hurt you, the other will heal you. One word is toxic, the other is tonic. One will sap away your strength to survive, the other will help you, give you the strength to thrive. One word denies hope, the other gives and believes in hope, even where there seems to be no hope. One word already shuts the door, the other opens your eyes to possibilities. And the word is Himpossible, Himpossible, a powerful, practical, proven word that has changed lives and can transform your lives too. Himpossible creates an atmosphere conducive to achieve success and help you overcome failures. Allow me to share 4 compelling reasons why. The word Himpossible is a biblical concept. Faith, trust, and hope are part of its range of meanings. Its philosophy is biblical, theological, and practical. 2, the accent is on Him, and that is God. The power to change lives is in Him. The strength of this word is partnership between us and God. Miracles happen because we cooperate with Him. Though you can't locate the word Himpossible in a printed dictionary, you can find successful applications in human narratives, testimonies, books, and other sources. In other words, the force, the cause, and the source of changed lives has everything to do with God. But there is a need to acknowledge Him and align with Him before we can activate and apply the word Himpossible. A Chinese man was hired to do a job and had high standards for himself and his workers. In one of the projects, the deadline seemed impossible. One of the workers said, "The Great Wall of China was not built in a day." And he replied, "That's because I was not the foreman." Good illustration. I consider myself a impossible thinker because my focus is on God and not on myself. Being a impossible thinker helps me to go through tough times, succeed and accomplish things I would not have done otherwise. What this podcast will do for you. This podcast is filled with insightful stories and soul-stirring testimonies and some humor to encourage you to persevere and not be discouraged when rain falls in your life. I hope it will inspire you to have hope in the midst of difficulties. This podcast will serve as a roadmap to living a joyful and fulfilled life, no matter what the circumstances are. This podcast seeks to remind and reinforce timely and timeless truths, which we forget sometimes. When the night is darkest, the stars shine brightest. When life throws you a curveball, face and accept it, and then move on. When life gives you a lemon, make it into a lemonade. However bad yesterday is, today is not yesterday. However bleak today is, tomorrow the sun will rise again. If you are pessimistic by nature, going through hard times or experiencing some failures, this podcast is for you. It will give you principles on how to become a impossible thinker, inspire you to dare to dream. Impossibility produces new possibilities. It helps you move from frustration to fulfillment, encouragement to discouragement to hope, discontentment to contentment. Be prepared to be inspired, stimulated, and surprised. When you finish listening to the podcast, you will have a new perspective about life. Let this podcast be your guide and traveling companion to living above present circumstances. The wonderful news is God knows you even though I may not. It makes a great difference when you know Him. Believe that nothing is impossible with God. Did you hear of the rather unique funeral held in an office in New York several years ago? As employees of the firm came to work on one Monday morning, they were greeted by a solemn notice at the entrance. The person responsible for inhabiting your growth died yesterday. The body has been placed in the cafeteria and will be there till 2 p.m. It was saddening to know that a colleague had passed away, but there was also curiosity in the air about the identity of the deceased. So the employees trooped into the cafeteria to pay their last respect. A crowd of company staff had gathered. Who is this chap who has been hindering our growth? They all seemed to be wondering as they walked to the coffin to take a look. One by one, each person looked at the coffin, and there was a shocked silence and looked in disbelief. Why? Inside the coffin was a mirror, and below it was a placard that read, "There's only one person that can limit your growth, and that's you." Indeed. There's a poem that I like that is called Himpossible. It goes like this. Centuries have passed, many paths have been trod by man. There awaits still more unexplored areas around them. Though the vision is so dim to everybody, yet God's grace will see us through. So walk with faith and courage to clear every hurdle along. Just open yourself to Jesus. Every dust will turn to gold. God has given us a creative mind to think, like a seed that sprouts into full-bloom flower, and the world becomes more beautiful and fair for those who really dare to try. When you give your life to serve the Lord above, streams of living will flow forth from your life that will touch every man along the way. Every task becomes impossible. Are you ready to begin an exciting journey to see what impossible thinking can do for you? Let's buckle our belt and begin.
The program is proudly presented by Global Reach Out. We welcome you to share our live enriching webcasts with family and friends through our website, global-reachout.org. Let's reach out to bless more lives together.